What's going on YouTube? It's Harry here, bringing you another video leading into the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is released in less than 24 hours worldwide. We're here to talk about Paradox Pokemon. So, I have a theory. I think that the Paradox Pokemon are going to be caught here, and I think they're going to be caught in the post-game, just based on the information that I have so far. We're going to start with the 7 exclusive Paradox Pokemon to Pokemon Violet. We're starting with Iron Moth. You will notice that all of the Paradox Pokemon that are exclusive to Pokemon Violet all have Iron in the name. They also have the same ability in Quark Drive, which boosts its most prominent stat in electric terrain. You can also boost it by holding the new item Booster Energy, which is linked to these new abilities. It has a 110 base speed, 140 base special attack. It is the new Fire Poison Paradox Pokemon, Iron Moth. It has decent stab moves in Sludge Wave and Flamethrower, as well as Fire Blast. It's got decent coverage in things like Psychic, Flash Cannon, Dazzling Gleam, Bug Buzz, Energy Ball. It also has Healing in Morning Sun. I think this is going to be quite good. It's also got some utility in being able to boost its speed with Flame Charge, which, you know, seems pretty decent on that 110 base speed. It doesn't have a way to boost its special attack though, like Volcarona does with Quiver Dance. It also gets Toxic Spikes, which I think is quite neat for this. I think this is slightly outclassed by some other things that have more use. I think Salazzle is probably still a bit better than this, and I think that Volcarona is still a bit better than this, but it's still going to get some use. It's still a very reasonable Pokemon. Next up, we've got Iron Hands, Fighting Electric, which goes with Pawmot, these are the two Fighting Electric types which we've never seen before. You'll also notice it also has 570 as a base stat total. You'll notice that most of these new Paradox Pokemon have that base stat total. There are a couple that are slightly higher. Its HP, attack and defense stats are quite high. It can be run as a bulky physical wall. I think with an Assault Vest it's going to be quite good as well, just hitting things with that 140 base attack, and tools like Seismic Toss are quite nice as well. It's got all the elemental punches, decent coverage, close combat on that 140 base attack is really nice. It's also got Belly Drum, which makes this something that can be quite good on a Trick Room team, I believe. With that decent bulk as well, it's going to be able to pull that off quite nicely, I think. So I think this is going to be quite a decent option. It's also one of the very few options that is going to be able to take advantage of being in electric terrain with its stab electric type. So, you know, that could be pretty interesting. And I think it's a quite nice offensive typing as well with that fighting electric type. Next up, we've got Iron Thorns. This is also electric type and rock type. One thing that I will say, this is very similar stats to what Tyranitar is, but it doesn't get Sandstorm. It just doesn't get that advantage that Tyranitar gets with, Sandstream. It still gets rocks, it still gets, you know, nice stab moves, but it just doesn't have that. I don't know if I'm looking too much into the similarities and differences to what these Pokemon are based on, but I just think this is, you know, not quite as good as its counterpart, whereas some of the others are just completely different. It also gets Dragon Dance, things like Earthquake, Rock Slide, Stone Edge. I think Thunder Punch is its best physical electric attack, which, you know, it's not great. It's got Volt Switch, like, it's got some use, but I think it's just going to be outclassed by some other things, but it might still see some, you know, mid-tier play, but we'll wait and see. Next up, I thought this was going to be really good when I first looked at it. Iron Bundle, obviously based on Delibird. It is Ice and Water type. 136 base speed, 124 base special attack. It looks good, but it just doesn't have many moves that it can take advantage of. It's quite a strong Freeze Dry, which is the first thing that comes to mind, which is quite good. Running Specs Freeze Dry, which we've seen on Kyurem, is quite nice. But other than that, like, you're switching into Hydro Pump. Like, there's not really a lot that you know, this can threaten outside of things that are weak to its stab moves. It's got flip turn and U-turn, but I think this thing has been really let down by its move pool. If it gets some new moves that it can add to its move pool, it could be a thing, but you know, at the moment, I just don't think it's going to see much use. Next up, we've got Iron Jugulis. It has 108 base speed, 122 base special attack, which is quite decent. Its boosting move is Work Up, which is, you know, it's fine. It's got Knock Off, which not many things have access to, which is quite nice. Things like Dark Pulse, Air Slash, I think gets Hurricane, Flash Cannon, Earth Power, Focus Blast. This does have some tools to put in some work. I think it's going to be a pretty good choice specs user, similar to how Hydreigon is, but it's got the better speed to go with it. So I think this is a fairly nice option. But again, you know, maybe not quite as good as Hydreigon. I think that you know, that Specs Draco Meteor with Stab, losing that's probably taken away from it a little bit. Next up, we've got Iron Treads, Ground and Steel type. I think this is a pretty cool Pokemon. It does get Rapid Spin, gets Iron Head, Knock Off, Earthquake, Heavy Slam, Mega Horn. I think this is quite nice. It's a nice Pokemon, nice typing. It's faster than Excadrill, doesn't hit quite as hard and has no way to boost its physical attack, but it does get Volt Switch and it also gets Ice Spinner. So it's got some nice tools. It also gets Rocks. I think this would be quite good. This is probably one of my favorite new Paradox Pokemon. The design's awesome as well. For those of you that have seen the trailer, it looks really cool. So really looking forward to using this. And this one is the most broken Paradox Pokemon from Pokemon Violet, and it's the last one that I'm going to show for these Paradox Pokemon. So the 7th one is Iron Valiant. This thing is really strong, 116 base speed and good mixed offenses. It's got that 130 base attack, 120 base special attack, and it's got a crazy move pool. You can see there I've even highlighted screens, but just look at those moves and what they can achieve in both the special and physical side. It just has crazy coverage. It's got Sword Stance, way to heal itself in Drain Punch. I think, did it have Calm Mind? It's got Calm Mind with Stored Power. Yeah, this thing's incredibly good. Knock Off, which again, not many things have access to. Something that's really cool about this Pokemon as well, it gets Spirit Breaks. It's not just a Grim style move now. Iron Valiant also gets Spirit Break, which, you know, if you look at close combat, Knock Off, Spirit Break, it's just an easy Pokemon to run. You can run that with a Sword Stance, take advantage of that already nice speed, or you can just slap on a coverage move. Things like Liquidation, Poison Jab, Shadow Claw, X-Scissor. Fantastic Pokemon. This thing is going to be incredibly scary and it's going to see a lot of use. Next up, we're going to go into the Pokemon Scarlet Paradox Pokemon. These all have the ability Photosynthesis. This is exactly the same as Quark Drive, except it works in the sun. You'll also see that they all learn Sunny Day. So similar to how the Pokemon Violet, Paradox Pokemons all got Electric Terrain, these get Sunny Day. So this is the Magneton Paradox Pokemon, Electric and Ground. You'll notice that these all have unique names, not like the Violet Pokemon that all have Iron in their names. Thing that gets Sandy Shock's a bit of use is that 101 base speed, 121 base special attack, but it just doesn't have a lot of tools to take advantage of. It gets hazards in Stealth Rock and Spikes, which is quite nice. You will notice in Gen 9 that a lot of ground Pokemon do get Rocks and Spikes, which is pretty cool. Ground types are going to be incredibly useful this gen. It does get Volt Switch, Earth Power, Power Gem, so it does have a little bit of coverage, but I don't know, I don't think it's that great. I just don't see it. I think this has been let down a little bit by its move pool. Some of these new Paradox Pokemon got incredible move pools, but some just got let down a little bit. Next up, we've got Slither Wing. So this is the second Paradox Pokemon for Volcarona. This is a bug fighting physical attacker. that has 135 base attack, which is really, really good. It also gets Flame Charge and Trailblaze to make up for that 81 base speed. Both of those function the same way. Trailblaze is just a grass type attack. They both boost speed, so I think that'll be really useful. Also gets Morning Sun, gets Bulk Up. I think this could be a really good Bulk Up Pokemon. If you look at its stats, 85 base HP, 79 base defense, and 105 base special defense. I think this will be a really good Bulk Up Pokemon. It's also got an incredibly strong first impression, which makes me think that this could be run on banded sets. It's also got close combat, so having those two really strong stab moves is really nice. Also U-turn. I think this is pretty good. And it's interesting, like this one is very different to the base Volcarona, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Slither Wing brings to us. Next up, we've got Flutter Mane, Ghost Fairy, 135 base special attack, 135 base speed. It's also got the 135 base special defense. This is going to be really strong. That Ghost Fairy offensive typing, fantastic. It's also got Shadow Ball and Moonblast, amazing. Mystical Fire, Power Gem, Psyshock. It's also got Calm Mind with Stored Power, Energy Ball, Draining Kiss. This has the tools to really break down teams, and it's going to be very hard to counter. I'm really looking forward to use this Pokemon. It's going to be very, very strong. Next up, we've got Screamtail. So this one, I actually thought wasn't very good when I first looked at it. I didn't think it was going to do much, but then I looked a bit closer. That 115 base HP, 99 base defense, 115 base special defense, and 111 base speed. It gets Wish, it gets Calm Mind, it gets Stored Power, it gets Rocks, it gets Thunder Wave, very psychic typing. I think this is going to be pretty good. I don't know if it's going to get a lot of offensive use, but it can if it wants to. I think that in certain matchups, particularly in draft, running like Calm Mind, Wish, and 2 attacks, or Calm Mind, Wish, Protect, and something like Stored Power if you can, or Moonblast if you can, I think this is going to be quite good. This can just be run as basically anything. It's actually got way more utility than I thought it did originally. It also gets Trick, it gets Bulk Up. Like, yeah, its move pool is a bit silly, and it's quite abusable. I think this is going to be a lot better than anyone's going to give it credit for, especially in the first few weeks of Scarlet and Violet. Next up, we've got Brute Bonnet, which is the Amoonguss Paradox Pokemon. Grass and Dark type is quite nice. 127 base attack. It's also got really nice bulk, 111, 99, 99. This could be a fantastic Assault Vest user. Just bulky leftovers. It's got Synthesis, Stab, Sucker Punch. Still gets Spore, Close Combat, Bullet Seed, Zen Headbutt, Trailblaze to boost its speed. Like base 55 at +1 speed is, decent enough to take advantage of. It doesn't get Knockoff. Don't think it even gets. It gets Crunch. I guess Crunch is its best physical dark type attack, but it also gets Sucker Punch. Like, it's nice. I think it's going to be really good. It's also going to be really good in doubles, which I don't talk about much, but I thought I would with this. Rage Power with those crazy defensive stats. Amoonguss with Regenerator isn't as useful in something like VGC, but with these stats in doubles, it's going to be really useful in Gen 9. So watch out for Brute Bonnet. Next up, we've got Great Tusk, which is the second Donphan Paradox Pokemon. So this is the past Paradox Pokemon. 115 base HP, 131 base attack, and a 131 base defense. It also gets Rapid Spin. It also gets Close Combat. It also gets things like Mega Horn. It gets Headlong Rush, which is basically like the Close Combat, but for ground type moves. So learnt by Hariyama and Ursaluna. I don't know if this is going to be more useful than something like an Earthquake. You might say with fighting types, like Close Combat is super common, but they don't have something like an Earthquake. They're usually using Close Combat instead of something like a Drain Punch or a High Jump Kick. So I think it will get use in some scenarios, especially in draft when you just need that extra damage to be able to 2-hit KO things. That 87 base speed is quite nice. Gets knockoff, which again, not many Pokemon get. Body press could be quite useful with the way its stats are set up, and it gets things like bulk up. Gets rocks. Don't think it gets spikes. No, it doesn't get spikes. Gets the Thunder Fang, Ice Fang, Fire Fang, Play Rough. Yeah, this thing's going to be really good. I think the two Donphan Paradox Pokemons are things that I'm really looking forward to. And Ground Fighting is quite a nice typing. Next up, I've got the last Pokemon on this list. This is the best Pokemon in my opinion. Probably not just my opinion. I think this thing is absolutely broken. This is Roaring Moon. So this is the Salamence past Paradox Pokemon. 139 base attack, 119 base speed. It also gets Dragon Dance. This thing is nuts. Also gets U-Turn, Dragon Claw, Zen Headbutt, Fire Fang, Thunder Fang, Shadow Claw, Night Slash. Like, it just has so many things to pick from. Also with decent enough bulk, and it gets Roost, Outrage, Rock Slide, Earthquake. This thing's nuts. If you look at Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant, I think these are definitely suspects for quick bans in competitive play, but we'll just wait and see. I know this has been a very quick video, just wanted to get this information out there so you can have a look for yourself. Let me know which Paradox Pokemon you're looking forward to using the most. I can't wait. The game comes out in less than 24 hours, so I'm suspecting in the next few days we're going to find out more about how to catch these Pokemon. And yeah, let's go. See you for the next video.